Right now, Ilia Topuria doesn't look like a fighter who's just getting ready for his next opponent, he looks like a fighter who's preparing to take over. And that might sound like hype at first, but when you actually watch the footage coming out of his training camp, it starts to feel very real. There's a different kind of sharpness in everything he's doing. Not just speed, not just power, but awareness. Every movement feels calculated. Every combination has purpose. He's not just throwing punches, he's building sequences, setting traps, reading reactions before they even fully happen. That's the kind of evolution that turns a dangerous fighter into a serious problem for an entire division. What stands out immediately is his composure. Even during intense drills, there's no rush in his movement. He's not trying to force knockouts in sparring. He's not overextending or chasing moments. Instead, he's controlling distance, adjusting angles, and staying balanced at all times. That level of control is something you usually only see in fighters who have reached a very high level of confidence in their abilities. And confidence, when combined with discipline, can be extremely difficult to deal with inside the cage. But here's where things get interesting, because no matter how good Topuria looks in training, the real challenge comes when you put someone like Justin Gaethje in front of him. Gaethje is not the type of fighter you can fully prepare for. You can study him, you can train for his tendencies, but once the fight starts, everything becomes unpredictable. He brings a level of pressure that forces you to react instantly. There's no time to settle in, no time to slowly build your rhythm. From the very first exchange, he's pushing forward, cutting off space, and looking to land heavy shots. That kind of aggression has broken many fighters before, not just physically, but mentally. And that's what makes this potential matchup so dangerous. Because on one side, you have Topuria, precise, calculated, composed. On the other side, you have Gaethje, relentless, explosive, and completely comfortable in chaos. It's not just a fight of skill, it's a fight of philosophies. Topuria wants control. Gaethje creates disorder. Topuria relies on timing. Gaethje relies on pressure. Topuria looks for clean, efficient damage. Gaethje is willing to take damage to give it back even harder. When styles like this collide, something has to give. The big question is, what breaks first? If Topuria is able to maintain distance, manage the pace, and keep the fight technical, he could neutralize a lot of what makes Gaethje dangerous. Clean counters, sharp combinations, and smart movement could slowly chip away at Gaethje's offense. That's how you beat pressure fighters. You don't match their chaos, you outthink it. But that's a very difficult thing to do when someone is constantly coming forward, constantly throwing, constantly forcing you to make decisions under pressure. Because all it takes is one moment, one exchange where the distance closes, 1 second where the timing is slightly off, and suddenly, the fight changes completely. That's where Gaethje becomes most dangerous. And that's why Topuria's current training is so important. Because from what we're seeing, he's not ignoring that danger, he's preparing for it. The emphasis on movement, the quick resets, the sharp counters, it all points toward a fighter who understands that he cannot afford to get reckless in this kind of matchup. And that awareness alone is a huge advantage. Another factor that can't be overlooked is the mental side of the game. Topuria right now looks like a fighter who genuinely believes he's unbeatable. And in combat sports, that belief can be incredibly powerful. It allows you to stay calm under pressure. It allows you to trust your skills even when things get difficult. It allows you to take risks when others might hesitate. But belief can also be tested. And Gaethje is one of the best in the world at testing fighters. He doesn't just challenge your skills, he challenges your mindset. He forces you into uncomfortable exchanges, pushes your limits, and makes you question how much you're willing to take to win. That's where experience comes into play, and if you look even deeper into Topuria's preparation, there's another layer that makes this even more dangerous: his ability to adapt. He's not a one-dimensional fighter. If the striking exchanges get too risky, he has the grappling to change the entire direction of the fight. That's something people don't talk about enough. Everyone is focused on his knockout power right now, but his ground game could be just as important in a matchup like this. Against a pressure fighter like Gaethje, mixing in level changes, clinch control, and grappling threats could slow the pace down and disrupt the rhythm that Gaethje relies on. And if that happens, it could take away one of Gaethje's biggest strengths, his ability to keep fights in a constant state of chaos. At the same time, Gaethje isn't the kind of fighter who stays the same. Over the years, he's evolved too. His striking has become more measured, his defense more disciplined, and his shot selection more calculated than it used to be. He's not just a brawler anymore, he's learned how to control moments, how to pick his shots more carefully, and how to conserve energy for the later rounds. That evolution makes him even more dangerous, because now he can switch between controlled aggression and full pressure depending on what the fight demands. So while many people see this as chaos versus control, the reality might be more complex. Gaethje can be patient when he needs to be, and that could create unexpected problems for Topuria. Another key factor is conditioning. In high-level fights like this, cardio becomes a silent weapon. Topuria's recent training suggests he's pushing his endurance to another level, maintaining speed and sharpness even in later rounds. That's crucial, because if this fight goes beyond the early explosive moments, fatigue will start to play a role. Gaethje is known for his toughness, but even he is slowed down in certain fights when the pace becomes overwhelming. If Topuria can stay fresh, keep moving, and continue landing clean shots as the fight progresses, it could shift the momentum heavily in his favor. On the other hand, if Gaethje manages to wear him down early with pressure and body shots, it could open the door for a completely different outcome. And then there's the psychological battle going into a fight like this. The build-up, the media, the expectations, it all adds pressure. Topuria is riding a wave of confidence right now, and that momentum can be powerful. But it also brings attention, hype, and a certain level of expectation that can affect performance. Gaethje, meanwhile, has been in these high-pressure situations multiple times. He knows how to handle the spotlight, how to stay focused, and how to block out the noise. That experience could play a crucial role, especially if the fight doesn't go according to plan early on. When you put all of this together, it becomes clear that this isn't just a simple matchup, it's a layered battle with multiple paths to victory for both fighters. Topuria has the precision, the youth, the momentum, and the evolving skill set. Gaethje has the experience, the durability, the pressure, and the ability to turn any fight into a war. And in fights like this, the smallest adjustments can make the biggest difference. So as the anticipation builds, one thing becomes certain: this isn't just about who looks better on paper or who has the more impressive training clips. It's about who can execute when it matters most, who can stay disciplined under pressure, who can adapt when things don't go their way. Because when the cage door closes, none of the hype matters, only the fight does. Gaethje has been in those moments before. He's been in wars. He's felt the pressure, the damage, the exhaustion, and he's kept going. That kind of experience gives him an edge in chaotic situations, because he knows how to survive them. Topuria, on the other hand, is still building that part of his career. He has the skill, the confidence, and the momentum, but this kind of fight would test him in ways he hasn't fully experienced yet. And that's what makes this so compelling. Because it's not just about who is better technically, it's about who can handle the moment, who can stay composed when everything speeds up, who can execute their plan when the pressure is at its highest, and of course, who can take a shot and keep going. Because let's not forget, both of these fighters have serious power. Gaethje's power is explosive and aggressive. He throws with intent, and when he connects, it's meant to end the fight. Topuria's power is more precise, but no less dangerous. He doesn't waste shots. When he lands clean, it matters. So in reality, this is a fight where neither man can afford to make mistakes, because one mistake could be the last. And that's exactly why fans are so locked into this potential matchup. It's unpredictable. It's high stakes, and it has all the ingredients of something unforgettable. Right now, based purely on what we're seeing, Topuria looks like he's entering his prime at the perfect time. Everything is coming together: his technique, his confidence, his preparation. He looks like a fighter who is ready to take that next step and prove he belongs at the very top. But standing in his way is someone who doesn't care about momentum, doesn't care about hype, and doesn't care how good you look in training. Justin Gaethje cares about one thing: what happens when the fight starts. And when it does, everything changes. Because training is controlled. Fighting is not. In training, you can reset. In a fight, one mistake can't be taken back. So while Topuria may look unstoppable right now, the real question is whether the dominance can survive under the kind of pressure Gaethje brings. Because if it can, then we might be looking at the rise of a new force in the division. But if it can't, then Gaethje will once again prove why he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. Either way, if this fight happens, don't expect it to go quietly. Expect intensity. Expect violence. And expect a moment that could define both of their careers. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, thumbs up, subscribe, bell, and comment who you think wins, Topuria or Gaethje. Backhand index pointing down, fire. More fight breakdowns and MMA content coming daily, don't miss out.